Archangel Michael says, trust your intuition right now. Don't scroll, please don't scroll. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and if your heart just tightened a little when you read that, that's your confirmation that this moment was divinely arranged, not random, not accidental, not just another video in your feed, but a pause placed here on purpose, because Archangel Michael says trust your intuition right now, and before your mind jumps in with doubt or logic or fear, let your heart breathe for a second, because your heart needs this right now, and you've been asking for clarity, even if you didn't say it out loud, even if it showed up as restlessness, confusion, late-night thoughts, or that quiet sense that something is about to change but you can't explain how or when. And listen to this message is for you. Because lately you've been feeling pulled in two directions, one voice telling you to wait, to be careful, to not get your hopes up, and another softer voice whispering that you already know the truth, that you already feel the answer in your body before your mind tries to rewrite it. And Archangel Michael is stepping in right now, not with fear, not with judgment, but with protection and clarity, saying you don't need another sign from the outside world, you need to trust what has been rising inside you all along, because your intuition is not imagination, it's memory, it's recognition, it's your soul remembering what your mind has forgotten. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the reason this feels emotional is because it's touching something real, something ancient, something true. And you've been seeing signs from the universe lately whether you realized it or not, repeating numbers like 11. 11 when you glance at the clock without meaning to, 222 when you're questioning a relationship, 444 when you feel tired and unsupported, and every time it happens you brush it off, but your heart notices, your spirit notices, and Archangel Michael says those numbers are not coincidences. They are checkpoints, reminders that you are being guided even when the path feels foggy, even when you don't see the full picture yet. And this message is for you because you've been standing at the edge of a decision that feels bigger than words, a choice that could shift your emotional world, your love life, your sense of purpose, and you keep asking yourself, what if I'm wrong? But you haven't asked, what if I'm right? And listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. Because you've been trained to doubt yourself, to trust external approval more than internal knowing, but Archangel Michael says the discomfort you've been feeling is not a warning, it's an awakening, it's what happens when your soul grows faster than your circumstances, and that's why things that used to make sense no longer fit, people you used to understand feel distant, conversations feel shallow. And you feel called to something deeper even if you can't name it yet. And don't scroll, because this part is important. There is a soulmate level energy around you right now, whether it's someone entering your life, re-entering it, or being released so the right connection can finally align, and you've felt it, that magnetic pull, that emotional intensity, that sense of recognition that doesn't rely on logic or time. And Archangel Michael says not every soulmate arrives to stay forever, some arrive to wake you up, to remind you of who you are, to reflect your wounds so they can finally heal, and your intuition already knows what role this person plays, even if your heart is still catching up. And this message is for you because you've been asking the universe for love that feels safe and real, not chaotic or confusing. And the universe has been responding by teaching you discernment, by sharpening your intuition so you don't abandon yourself in the name of connection again. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Because you've been too hard on yourself for feeling deeply, for caring intensely, for sensing things before they happen, but that sensitivity is not weakness, it's perception, it's the reason you feel energy shifts before words are spoken. It's the reason you know when something is off even when everything looks fine on the surface. And Archangel Michael says you were never meant to numb that gift, you were meant to protect it. And don't scroll. This is where the message turns. Because there has been a quiet spiritual awakening unfolding inside you, not loud, not dramatic, but subtle and persistent, showing up as emotional releases you didn't expect, memories resurfacing, sudden clarity about what you can no longer tolerate, and moments of peace that arrive without explanation, and you thought something was wrong with you, but nothing is wrong, you are remembering yourself. And this message is for you because the universe has been rearranging things behind the scenes. Closing doors you kept trying to reopen, delaying situations you thought you wanted, and shielding you from outcomes you couldn't yet see, and Archangel Michael wants you to know that what felt like rejection was actually redirection, what felt like silence was protection, and what felt like waiting was preparation, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Because the next phase of your life will require you to trust your inner voice more than external noise, and there will be a moment soon, very soon, where you feel a clear intuitive push to act, to speak, to leave, to stay, to choose yourself, and when that moment comes it won't feel logical, it will feel calm, grounded, almost obvious in a way that surprises you, and that's how you'll know it's real, because intuition doesn't scream, it resonates. And don't scroll. Because if you ignore that nudge, the lesson will repeat in a louder form, but if you honor it, the path opens quietly, gracefully, without force, and this message is for you because you are not behind, you are not broken, and you are not imagining what you feel, you are aligned, even in the uncertainty, and Archangel Michael says you are being protected in ways you may never fully see, guided through instincts, feelings, and inner knowing rather than dramatic signs, because you are ready to walk by faith in yourself now, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Take a breath, feel your body soften, feel that sense of recognition settling in, because that calm is your confirmation, and as you move forward from this moment, pay attention to what feels expansive rather than draining, what brings peace rather than anxiety, what feels honest rather than performative, because your intuition is your compass, and it has never failed you, even when you doubted it. And Archangel Michael says trust it now, trust yourself now, because the universe doesn't whisper. To those who aren't listening, and the fact that you're here means you already are. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you've been feeling that quiet pressure building inside you, like something is about to change but you don't know how to prepare for it, because Archangel Michael is speaking into this exact moment to remind you that the reason you've been feeling unsettled isn't because you're off track, it's because you're getting closer, closer to a truth you can no longer ignore. Closer to a decision your soul already made. Before your mind tried to negotiate its way out of it, and listen to this message is for you. Because lately you've been catching yourself pausing in the middle of your day, zoning out, feeling waves of emotion come out of nowhere, and you thought maybe you were just tired or overwhelmed, but Archangel Michael says those pauses are sacred, they're invitations, moments when your intuition is trying to speak before the noise rushes back in, and your heart needs this right now because you've spent so long being strong, being rational, being the one who holds it together, that you forgot. Strength also means listening, it means honoring the quiet signals that don't demand attention but deserve it, and don't scroll. Because what you're about to hear explains why things have felt heavier lately, why old fears resurfaced, why memories you thought you healed suddenly knocked again, and it's not because you're moving backward, it's because you're crossing a threshold, and thresholds always test what you trust, and Archangel Michael says the universe is asking you a simple but powerful question right now. Do you trust your intuition more than your fear, because both have been speaking, but only one is telling the truth, and this message is for you because fear always sounds urgent, loud, convincing, while intuition feels calm, steady, almost gentle, and you dismissed it because it didn't match the chaos you were used to. But listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Peace can feel unfamiliar when you've lived in survival mode, and that's why when things start aligning you feel suspicious instead of relieved, and Archangel Michael wants you to know that ease is not a trap, it's a sign of alignment, and you don't need to earn it by suffering first, and don't scroll. Because there is a deep emotional revelation unfolding for you now, especially around love and connection, and you've been sensing it in the way certain people feel heavier to be around, in the way one particular name, one particular energy keeps resurfacing in your thoughts, and Archangel Michael says your intuition has already categorized these connections, even if your heart is still negotiating. Because some people are meant to walk with you into the next chapter, and some were only meant to show you what you deserve, and this message is for you because you've been confusing familiarity with destiny, intensity with depth, and attachment with love, and your intuition has been trying to correct the pattern quietly, nudging you away from what drains you and toward what feels steady, reciprocal, and real. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been seeing angel numbers more frequently since the last message, especially 333 or 555, that's not random. Those numbers show up when change is unavoidable and growth is accelerated, and Archangel Michael says you're in a window where old timelines are collapsing, which is why plans fell apart, conversations ended abruptly, and clarity arrived in flashes rather than full explanations, because you don't need the whole map, you just need the next honest step, and don't scroll. Because here's the part most people miss. Intuition doesn't always tell you what you want to hear, it tells you what will free you, and freedom can feel scary when you've built identity around endurance, loyalty, or waiting, and this message is for you because you've been loyal to situations that stopped honoring you, patient with delays that no longer served growth, and hopeful about outcomes that required you to abandon yourself. And Archangel Michael says your intuition has been pulling you back to yourself, again and again, and every time you ignored it, the lesson returned stronger, not to punish you, but to wake you up. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Because the next step will require courage, not force, honesty, not explanation, and trust, not proof, and there will be a moment soon when you feel an inner now, not rushed, not panicked, just clear, and when that moment arrives, distractions will increase, doubts will get louder, people may suddenly demand answers or reassurance, and that's how you'll know it matters, because breakthroughs are always tested right before they land. And don't scroll. Because this is where destiny shifts quietly. Archangel Michael says when you choose yourself without anger, when you listen to your intuition without needing permission, the universe rearranges faster than you expect, doors open that didn't respond before, clarity replaces confusion, and the right people recognize you without effort. And this message is for you because you are stepping into a season where your energy speaks louder than your words, where alignment replaces chasing, and where intuition becomes your default language. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. You are not meant to live in constant questioning, you are meant to live in quiet knowing, and the more you honor that knowing, the more life meets you there. And Archangel Michael says trust what feels true even when it scares you a little, because fear is temporary, but alignment is lasting, and the moment you trust yourself fully, everything you've been waiting for begins moving toward you too. Don't scroll, please don't scroll. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now more than you realize. Especially if you've been feeling an unusual mix of calm and tension lately, like something deep inside you has already decided while your mind is still catching up, and Archangel Michael is stepping forward again in this moment to explain why your intuition has been getting louder, clearer, and harder to ignore. Because you are entering a phase where silence is no longer protection and comfort is no longer growth. And listen to this. This message is for you, because the universe doesn't repeat lessons unless they matter, and lately you've noticed the same themes showing up again and again, the same emotional triggers, the same questions about love, purpose, and direction, and you've asked yourself, why is this happening again? But Archangel Michael says it's not happening again, it's happening deeper, and that's a sign of elevation, not failure. And your heart needs this right now because you've been mistaking emotional sensitivity for instability, when in truth, your emotional awareness has sharpened because your soul is ready to lead. And don't scroll, because this part explains everything you've been feeling. Your intuition is louder now because the old ways of living no longer work for you, the old coping mechanisms, the old distractions, the old justifications, and the universe is gently but firmly removing the fog so you can no longer pretend you don't know what you know. And this message is for you because you've been asking for peace while holding on to patterns that create chaos. Asking for love while ignoring red flags your intuition spotted immediately, asking for direction while drowning out the inner voice with external opinions, and Archangel Michael says the noise is falling away now, which is why certain friendships feel empty, certain conversations feel forced, and certain dreams feel urgent again. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been waking up at odd hours, especially between 2 and 4 a.m., feeling alert for no clear reason, that's not insomnia, that's alignment, that's your subconscious syncing with higher guidance. Because this is often when the spiritual veil feels thinner and clarity arrives without effort. And don't scroll, because there's a revelation about love you need to hear. Archangel Michael says you are no longer meant to chase emotional breadcrumbs, mixed signals, or potential, because your intuition has matured to recognize consistency over intensity, safety over sparks, and truth over fantasy. And this message is for you because there is a soulmate-level connection being recalibrated around you, either by removing someone who mirrors your old wounds or by preparing you to recognize someone who matches your healed self, and you've felt it in the way your standards shifted, the way you no longer feel excited by chaos, the way peace suddenly feels attractive. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now, because you've been afraid that choosing peace means settling, but Archangel Michael says peace is not settling, it's sovereignty, it's what happens when you stop abandoning yourself to be chosen. And don't scroll, because this shift affects more than love. It affects your purpose, your work, your creativity, your sense of direction, and lately you've felt an urge to realign, to simplify, to focus on what actually matters instead of what impresses others, and that's because your intuition is pulling you toward authenticity, not performance. And this message is for you because you've outgrown the need to prove yourself through exhaustion, struggle, or sacrifice. And Archangel Michael says you are entering a season where alignment will feel almost boring compared to the drama you survived. But that boredom is actually peace settling into your nervous system. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been seeing signs from the universe increase lately, feathers, songs playing at the exact right moment, words repeated by different people, numbers lining up when you're deep in thought, those are confirmations, not coincidences. Because guidance becomes subtle when trust increases. And don't scroll, because here's the part that requires honesty. You've been afraid to fully trust your intuition because trusting it means taking responsibility for your life, and responsibility can feel heavy when you've been used to reacting instead of choosing. But Archangel Michael says you are no longer meant to live in reaction mode, you are meant to live intentionally. And this message is for you because the next chapter will not allow autopilot, it will require presence, courage, and self-respect. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. There will be a moment soon where you are presented with an opportunity disguised as a test, something that looks familiar but feels wrong, something that offers comfort but costs alignment, and your intuition will speak immediately, quietly, clearly, and that moment will define this chapter, because if you listen, you break a cycle that's followed you for years, and if you ignore it, the lesson repeats with higher stakes. And don't scroll. Because Archangel Michael says you are not being rushed, but you are being prepared, and preparation often feels like emotional turbulence before clarity settles, and this message is for you because you are closer than you think to the life you've been envisioning, not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally willing to trust yourself, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Trusting your intuition doesn't mean you'll never feel fear again, it means fear will no longer be the decision maker, and Archangel Michael says the more you honor your inner knowing, the more life meets you with confirmation, ease, and support, and as you sit with this message, notice the calm beneath the emotion, the clarity beneath the words, because that feeling is not coming from me, it's coming from within you. And that's how you know this message is real. Because the universe only echoes what your soul already understands. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you've been feeling a strange emotional pressure lately, like something important is about to surface, something you've sensed for a long time but kept pushing aside because facing it would change everything. And Archangel Michael is stepping closer now, not to frighten you, not to rush you, but to gently pull the veil back and say it's time to stop doubting what you already know, because your intuition has been speaking in whispers for months, even years, and now it's rising in volume because the season of hesitation is ending, and listen to this message is for you. Because you've been standing in between two versions of yourself, the one who stays comfortable and the one who steps into truth, and that tension you feel in your chest isn't anxiety, it's alignment trying to happen, and your heart needs this right now because you've been taught to ignore inner knowing in favor of being agreeable, patient, understanding, and forgiving, even when it cost you peace, even when it drained your energy. Even when it dimmed your light, and Archangel Michael says your intuition has been activated now because your soul has decided it's done shrinking, and don't scroll, because here's what's really happening. Things have been falling apart not because you're being punished, but because you're being repositioned, and the reason certain people suddenly showed their true colors, certain plans collapsed at the last minute, certain opportunities felt promising and then disappeared, is because your intuition could no longer protect you quietly, it had to expose the truth loudly. And this message is for you because you've been blaming yourself for endings that were divinely orchestrated, for distance that was necessary, for separations that saved you from repeating an old cycle, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been feeling emotionally raw, more sensitive than usual, crying without a clear reason or feeling deeply moved by small things, that's not weakness, that's your nervous system releasing years of stored survival energy, because you're finally safe enough to feel, and Archangel Michael says when intuition activates at this level, it's because the soul knows it's about to step into a truer timeline, one where you no longer betray yourself for acceptance. And don't scroll. Because this shift is especially powerful when it comes to love and soul connections. There is someone, or there was someone, who triggered this awakening, someone who mirrored both your deepest longing and your deepest wound, and your intuition saw the truth long before your heart wanted to accept it, and Archangel Michael says not every soulmate stays, but every soulmate changes you. And this message is for you because you were meant to learn discernment, not endurance, boundaries, not self-sacrifice. And your intuition has been training you for this moment by making discomfort impossible to ignore, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been seeing signs from the universe intensify, angel numbers repeating back to back, dreams that feel vivid and symbolic, songs with lyrics that answer questions you didn't ask out loud, that's because guidance is getting closer, clearer, more personal. And Archangel Michael says when you start trusting your intuition, the universe no longer needs to shout, it can whisper and you'll still hear it. And don't scroll, because here's the truth that changes everything. Your intuition is not leading you away from people, it's leading you back to yourself, and that's why some connections feel threatened by your growth, why some people resist the new boundaries you're setting, why you feel guilt for choosing peace, and this message is for you because guilt is a sign you're breaking a pattern, not doing something wrong, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. There is a moment coming soon where you will be asked, without words, to choose between familiarity and freedom, between comfort and alignment, and the choice won't come with drama, it will come quietly, maybe as a conversation that feels off, an opportunity that doesn't excite you anymore, or a sudden clarity that says, this is no longer for me, and that's when Archangel Michael says trust yourself without explaining, trust yourself without apologizing, trust yourself without waiting for permission, and don't scroll, because when you do, something remarkable happens, the emotional noise quiets, your body relaxes, your energy stabilizes, and life starts responding differently, people treat you with more respect, opportunities feel less forced, and synchronicities appear effortlessly, and this message is for you because the universe is not testing you to see if you'll fail, it's watching to see if you'll finally choose yourself, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Trusting your intuition doesn't mean you'll never feel uncertain again, it means uncertainty won't control you, it means you'll move forward even when answers unfold one step at a time, and Archangel Michael says you are protected as you do, guided as you do, and supported in ways you can't yet measure, and as you sit with this message, notice how something inside you feels steady, grounded, almost relieved. Because that relief is recognition, and recognition is how truth lands when it finally reaches you. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you've been feeling like you're standing in a quiet in-between space where nothing looks dramatic on the outside but everything is shifting on the inside, and Archangel Michael is speaking clearly now to tell you that this pause you're in is not stagnation, it's calibration, it's the moment right before the door opens, and listen to this. This message is for you. Because you've been sensing that something is aligning, something you can't fully name yet, but you feel it when you wake up, you feel it when old fears don't hit as hard as they used to, you feel it when situations that once controlled you suddenly lose their grip, and your heart needs this right now because you've been questioning whether you're imagining this sense of readiness, but Archangel Michael says readiness doesn't always feel like confidence. Sometimes it feels like quiet acceptance, like a deep inner, I can't do this the old way anymore, and don't scroll, because here's the truth you've been avoiding, intuition doesn't only guide you toward what's next, it also asks you to release what you've outgrown, and you've been holding on to something, an identity, a hope, a connection, a version of the future. Because letting go felt like failure, but Archangel Michael says letting go is not giving up, it's making room, and this message is for you because the universe cannot deliver what's meant for you while your hands are still clenched around what was only meant for a season, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. There has been a subtle emotional detox happening inside you, moments where you suddenly feel lighter after crying, calmer after telling the truth, stronger after choosing silence over reaction, and those moments are signs of integration, proof that your intuition is no longer just speaking, it's leading, and don't scroll, because this shift is affecting your relationships in ways you might not have fully accepted yet. Some people feel distant not because they changed, but because you did, because you stopped over-explaining, stopped chasing clarity from those who thrive on confusion, stopped negotiating your worth, and Archangel Michael says when your intuition strengthens, dynamics change naturally, and this message is for you because you're learning that love doesn't require self-betrayal, loyalty doesn't require suffering, and patience doesn't require silence, and listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. If there's a soulmate-level connection around you, whether it's unfolding gently or dissolving painfully, trust that your intuition already knows its purpose, because some souls arrive to stay and build, and others arrive to wake you up and move you forward, and neither is a loss. And don't scroll, because here's what's coming next. There will be an opportunity presented to you that looks ordinary on the surface but feels different in your body, calmer, cleaner, less chaotic than what you're used to, and your mind may hesitate because it doesn't come with fireworks or urgency, but Archangel Michael says that's exactly how aligned opportunities arrive, without force, without anxiety, without proving. And this message is for you because you're learning to recognize peace as a green flag, not a warning sign, and listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. If you've been seeing angel numbers like 777 or 888 lately, those are signals of alignment and flow, reminders that you're stepping into a cycle where effort meets support, where intuition meets action, and where things begin to move faster because resistance is dissolving. And don't scroll, because this is the part that requires trust. Once you step through this door, you won't be able to go back to who you were, not because you'll be punished, but because you'll be free, free from doubting every feeling, free from chasing validation, free from staying where your soul feels tight. And Archangel Michael says freedom can feel unfamiliar at first, even lonely, but it is sacred. And this message is for you because you are meant to live guided, not guarded, intuitive, not anxious, awake, not reactive. And listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. Whatever you are being gently pulled toward, whatever feels quietly right even if it scares you a little, that is where your next chapter begins. And Archangel Michael says you don't need to see the whole path, you only need to honor the next true step, because the universe meets courage with confirmation every single time. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you've been feeling that strange calm mixed with anticipation, like you're standing on the edge of something meaningful and you don't want to rush it but you don't want to miss it either. And Archangel Michael is speaking softly now, not to command you, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you that intuition without action becomes frustration, and action without intuition becomes chaos. And this moment is where the two finally meet. And listen to this, this message is for you. Because you've done the inner work, even if you don't call it that, you've questioned yourself, healed pieces of old pain, recognized patterns, forgiven where you could, and learned where you must not. And your heart needs this right now because you've been wondering when all of this inner shifting will finally show up in your outer life, when the peace you're building inside will be reflected back to you through people, opportunities, and love. And Archangel Michael says the reflection begins the moment you move differently, not louder, not faster, but truer. And don't scroll, because here's what most people don't realize. Faith isn't blind hope, faith is choosing alignment even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. And your intuition has been preparing you for this by slowly removing your dependence on certainty, teaching you to recognize truth by how it feels in your body rather than how it sounds in your head. And this message is for you because you've reached a point where going back to who you were would hurt more than stepping into the unknown. And listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. There may be people around you who don't recognize this new steadiness in you, who miss the version of you that over-explained, overgave, and overstayed. and Archangel Michael says that discomfort you feel when you think about disappointing them is not a sign you're wrong, it's a sign you're finally choosing integrity over approval, and don't scroll, because this shift is activating new timelines. Ones where you don't have to convince, chase, or prove, ones where what's meant for you meets you halfway, and this message is for you because you're learning that manifestation is not forcing the universe to comply, it's cooperating with it, aligning your actions with your inner knowing so what's meant for you can recognize you. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been feeling guided to simplify, to say no more often, to protect your energy, to choose rest without guilt, those are not signs of laziness or withdrawal, they are signs of wisdom, because intuition strengthens in stillness, not in noise, and don't scroll. Because here's the part that changes everything. There will be a moment very soon where you are asked to act before you feel fully ready, maybe to speak a truth you've been holding back, to accept an opportunity you didn't expect, or to walk away from something that once defined you, and your mind will want more time, more reassurance, more guarantees, but Archangel Michael says intuition rarely asks twice, and hesitation is often the last test before expansion. And this message is for you because you are capable of trusting yourself even when your hands shake a little, even when your voice wavers, even when the path unfolds step by step instead of all at once, and listen to this, your heart needs this right now. If you've been seeing signs increase again, numbers repeating after moments of decision, unexpected confirmations from strangers or songs or memories resurfacing, that's the universe responding to your willingness, saying, yes, this way, and don't scroll. Because once you move in alignment, momentum follows naturally, resistance fades, and what felt heavy begins to feel manageable, and Archangel Michael says this is how miracles arrive quietly, not as dramatic rescues, but as steady progress that builds trust between you and life itself. And this message is for you because the next chapter is not about becoming someone new, it's about finally living as who you already are. Intuitive, aware, compassionate, and strong, and listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. Take a breath and feel the steadiness underneath the emotion, because that steadiness is your foundation now, and as you move forward from this moment, remember that every aligned action, no matter how small, is a declaration of trust, and Archangel Michael says when you trust yourself, the universe responds not with noise, but with support, and that support is already on its way. Don't scroll, stay with me. Because if you made it this far, this message is absolutely for you, and your heart needs this right now more than ever, and Archangel Michael is standing at the closing of this chapter not with urgency, not with fear, but with deep reassurance, because this is the moment where everything you've been feeling, questioning, healing, and sensing finally begins to make sense, even if not all at once, even if only as a quiet knowing settling into your chest. And listen to this. This message is for you. Because you didn't come this far just to stop at understanding, you came this far to step into embodiment, to live what you now know, to trust what you now feel, and to stop waiting for permission to be aligned, and your heart needs this right now because you've spent so much of your life preparing, enduring, surviving, learning lessons the hard way, and wondering when it would finally be your turn to exhale. And Archangel Michael says this is the exhale, this is the release, this is the sacred. Pause where you realize you are no longer who you were at the beginning of this journey, and don't scroll, because this is where the universe speaks softly but powerfully. Everything you went through was shaping your discernment, not punishing you, sharpening your intuition, not breaking you, and preparing you for a life where you no longer abandon yourself to keep the peace, and this message is for you because you are stepping into a season where alignment replaces anxiety, where clarity replaces confusion, and where love, real love, meets you without you having to beg, chase, or prove, and listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. There will still be moments of doubt, moments where the old voice tries to pull you back into fear, but it will no longer control you, because now you recognize it, and recognition is power, and Archangel Michael says from this moment on, your intuition will speak first, louder than fear, steadier than uncertainty, and don't scroll, because here is the truth that ties everything together. The universe has been watching how you treat yourself, how you listen to yourself, how you honor your inner knowing, and as you do, it adjusts accordingly, sending people who respect you, opportunities that meet you halfway, and love that feels safe instead of chaotic. And this message is for you because the old cycles are closing now, not with drama, but with maturity, not with anger, but with understanding. And listen to this. Your heart needs this right now. Whatever you are letting go of after this message, do it gently, do it without resentment, because release doesn't require bitterness, it requires honesty, and whatever you are stepping toward, step with trust, not because you see the whole path, but because you trust the voice guiding your next step, and Archangel Michael says you are not walking alone, even when it feels quiet, even when no one else sees what you're becoming, and don't scroll. Because if you've stayed until the end, this is your confirmation, something in you is ready to live differently, love differently, choose differently, and believe differently, and this message is for you because your intuition has officially become your ally, not something to question, not something to silence, but something to honor. And listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Take one more breath, feel the calm beneath the emotion, the strength beneath the softness, because that feeling is your alignment locking in, and as this message ends, remember this, the universe does not guide those who are not listening, and the fact that you're still here means you are, and Archangel Michael says trust yourself now, move forward now, and watch how life begins to meet you with the same faith you finally gave yourself. And if this resonated, don't rush away, sit with it, let it land, because sometimes the most powerful transformations begin the moment you decide to stay present until the very end.